Going along to get along. What will it get you? I'll wait for some people to come in here. Sewer Dog, first one in here. Hey, what's up? What's going along? What's going on, brother? You know, I gotta stand up where I see what's going on, and it's just, it's atrocious what's happening. Actual judges committing legal improprieties in court. I will email you that. Hold on, let me. Sometimes I'm. Sewer Dog 62. Okay, I can remember that. Sewer Dog 62. No, I can't. That's a complete lie. Oh, that's a complete lie. But I will email you. Hold on. This is the only way I can. So I've been losing some of the chat off this live stream that I've been using. So try to save that real quick. As chintzy as it may be, that's how I got it done. I kind of want to talk about societies and cultures that have gone along to get along throughout human history. And what happens to society, what happens to humanity every time they do it. Because I think that's the biggest question is, what does going along to get along mean, and what does it do for society? What does it do for humanity? I think it's like going along to get along, just compromising with everything. You can do it in a relationship. You're absolutely right with moderators, with welcome to the room, researching your roots. I think it becomes too often something we do in too many aspects of our life. You know, when you're married for 20 years, what's going on, roots? When you're married for 20 years, you kind of go along to get along because while you may have some feelings about something, you don't really want to fight. You've been married 20 years and you like happiness. At the same point, if the other person, the other half of the party, is always capitalizing on somebody's willingness to go along, or their need, or their fear, I think it becomes a very abusive relationship. Is the audio good? Is it streaming okay? Yeah, okay, cool. Good. I just want to make sure it's okay. No point in talking into a wall. I do that enough as it is. I just have to take some notes just so I know that I'm on the right track with what I want to convey, that I can get my story across. Like, I could probably ramble on and on, but I want to make sure people understand me. I want to be coherent. You're the whole audience. I appreciate it. I appreciate you listening. I appreciate you ringing the bell and coming in and hearing. Even if you're a troll and you're spying on me, you know, I've learned that those in charge of the government are the dirtiest, creepiest, nastiest people out there. It's just the way it is. They've been in power for so long, they are drunk. They are like somebody who's been drinking for 40 years every single day, a 12-pack. It's your choice if you do it. But after 40 years of drinking, you're not the same person. Oh, I know there's a communist spy in here watching. I know that. Commie bastards, anyway. Um, Societies that have any chance of prospering need to be balanced. There needs to be checks and balances. I mean, that's exactly the same reason why. That's why our founding fathers set up checks and balances. It's why there's the three different branches. It's why the judges and the judiciary should not even appear to be improper in court. You shouldn't even be able to point out anything they are improper about. In Franklin County, instead, what they do is they forcibly threaten to lock you up and take away your right to have counsel if you say anything against them. What? So, the Washington State Bar Association requires, in order for you to file a complaint against your lawyer, requires there be action taken in court by the judge. If the judge won't take any action and won't even let you talk about it in court, where's the impropriety there? Oh, right there. Right in front of us, guys. Yeah, and you're on the East Coast too, so it's already what? Like 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock there? Peace out, brother. I know you get up early. I always catch your I try and catch them. It's been, all this legal hassle has been mixing my schedule up, to say the understatement. I don't think we talk about it enough. 9:21, yeah. I don't think we talk about it enough. Good night, Patriot. Good night, Sewer Dog, the Patriot, man. Peace out, love to you, prayers to you, and all of your family, man, all your friends, to everyone out there. I think that's a big thing, is reaching out and praying for each other. We sit down and we pray at 10 o'clock here. Even if we're not together, there's a group of us that pray at 10 o'clock every night. Even if we have to get up out of bed to pray, or we have to sit down and stop doing whatever we're doing, we stop and pray at 10 o'clock. How are we supposed to address any lack of justice? How are we supposed to get justice? What is justice? Is justice gone? Is justice dead? I argue it is. I argue when you have judges working with the prosecutor who's working for the police, you no longer have a justice system. Your checks and balances have been removed. Every single bit of your society is now open to all the woes of the world. Every single woe of the world. Read them in the Bible. Read them in every guru book you want. From child molestation. I mean, look at Epstein. How does things like Epstein happen? You don't think there were some judges that knew Epstein? You don't think somebody along the way threw out 1 or 2 cases? You don't think somewhere something got swept under the rug? My personal opinion, the reason we have things like Epstein is because we have judges that are so willing to molest basic context, willing to molest the justice system itself, to use it for its own will, its own political gains. And once they start doing that, now they're subject. They must always do that. That's another thing. Once a judge does something that's a little improper, now he's sold out to doing anything that anyone else says, because somebody can literally just say, "Well, the other day when somebody tried to say something in court, you wouldn't even let them. You wouldn't even let them object. You told them if they would object, you would arrest them. That's not proper, Your Honor." One lawyer saying that against that judge, and he's fucked. But nobody will do it because they're all in the same basket. Every time our government enacts their will or their opinion on us just to get what they want, to get done every time what they want. Every time they show up and use force, we all suffer the consequences. Society suffers and loses. If we don't stand up when we see it happen, then we are plain and simple. We are abandoning our brothers and sisters next to us. If we don't step forward when we see one injustice, when we see an old lady tackled to the street, when we see a pregnant lady tackled for jaywalking, and we don't stand up, man, it's going to be your grandchildren someday. Someday your grandchildren will be tackled to the street by a cop. And you won't be able to stand up because you'll either be dead or too old to get out and do anything about it. And that's how it works. You'll be 65 and retired, and you'll be busy about your own. You know, I think there's many societies throughout history have gone along to get along. If you look at what happened in the ghettos of Nazi Germany, they didn't force them all into the ghettos. A lot of them went there because they thought that was the good thing to do. They didn't want to cause any problems. They just wanted to go along so they could keep getting along. In other words, ignore what's really happening so that you aren't bothered. That's how children get taken advantage of. That's how power corrupts our societies. That's what our forefathers warned us about in the Declaration of Independence, in the Constitution. It's what they warned us about. It's what the 5 freedoms in the First Amendment were all about. It's not just the First Amendment. There's 5 outright freedoms. Jenny Jones, welcome to the house. Anyway, so we're just talking about going along to get along. And what has it done to different societies, and what does it do to our society? And what does going along to get along look like? I didn't want to take too long at this. 15, 20 minutes maybe, I don't know. I just kind of want to see what everyone else has to say. If anyone else is interested, or if everyone else is busy and they got to do their thing, then so be it. When you see injustice, regardless of the struggles that it puts upon you, you can't stop. If you're a man of character or honor, of integrity, or a woman of integrity or honor or character, you can't stop. You can't just walk by and be like, oh, it's okay. I'm not a perfect person, so I'll let that cop be a bad person too. You know, we're all human. We all make mistakes. But not when I'm a cop. I never make a mistake when I have a gun on my side. I literally, there's a, on my channel, I have a video regarding that exact information. A cop saying that he does not make mistakes. Holy shit. We should really we should evaluate our society. I cannot believe that cops are so blatantly willing to out and outright feel and act and say they don't make mistakes. Well, not, you know, I don't make a mistake. I know who you are. You don't have a clue who I am. If you knew who I was, why are you lying against me? Why are you all working together for the same thing that you said 6 months ago you were doing, a year ago you were doing? Oh, back in Christmas you said you were. Yeah, why? Why is the same mentality from a year ago still happening? Yo, Rob P in the house. Anyway, going along to get along. It is how the Jews got put in the trains. And if you read any of the diaries, and I only bring up the Jewish people because it's close enough in human history that we can actually observe it. There have actually been eyewitnesses that lived through it. And when they got on the train, they thought it was for good. They thought it was for their good. And then the train got locked. It was no longer for their good. This is something that I really want to point out, and I really want to kind of get a movement going. The Nazis started in their home country first. You got to start somewhere. They didn't just wake up one day and start invading countries. They took over their country through policy and behavior. The Nazis started in their own hometowns. You guys realize that? The Nazis started in their own hometown. and we don't think it's going to happen. We keep looking outward for this outward invasion. Just like our founding fathers said, it's not going to come from the outside. I have witnessed politicians' willingness to literally molest beyond imaginable levels children, their families, everything about everything they've said for their own political gain. And they've been doing it so long they don't even think it's wrong. It's okay to lie on a memo. If I lie on a memo, if I lie on a court document, I go to jail. They lie on a court document, they were doing it to protect their society. Duh, Your Honor. Safety? Safety? I didn't do anything. I was doing it for safety. I think that's the biggest key right there. I think safety is a training whistle. A dog whistle sound, like the Pavlovian dog when they ring the bell. Ding, 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 and the dog sits. Safety. Ooh, here's all my guns and money and food and everything. Here you go, government. I don't need to be safe. You keep me safe. You've always kept me safe. Government's always kept the people safe. Wow. I wonder how... We keep reaching for the government to keep us safer. And at every point, we see that there's more massacres and there's more problems, more problems. We've given government more control over the last 150 years. And it hasn't helped. It hasn't worked. Your women, your children are next. That's just the truth. That's a fact. Read the Bible. It says so. You don't have to believe in the Bible. It's pretty accurate. And it might not mean your wife or your child. But as a whole, the next generation is next. We have lost our basic dignity and our basic civility. And the police are the ones that have lost it. And the judges will not hold them accountable. The judges have this authoritarian-like attitude. And they've been in charge for so long, and you do not question them. You do not question the judge. That they are like child molesters. Just straight up. They are no different than one. They molest families every day in open court, and they're willing to do it, and they have no problem doing it. And they become so drunk in doing it, they don't even realize how blatant they are. And then when you point it out, they become angry. The canon of ethics says you, a judge, should not become angry when I level criticism against you. Matter of fact, as a public official, you should expect and be subject to my criticism. And it shouldn't even bother you. You should be like, what? I didn't do anything, and you can't even point out one time I did anything. You just don't like me. Except for the fact that I can point out, like, every time. Like the fact that Franklin County judges allow the prosecuting attorney to argue community safety for bail. I think people can look that one up, but I don't think you're allowed to argue community safety for bail. Bail is set forth to make sure that individual returns to court. Now, if you're up on life in prison, you're probably gonna face a pretty high bail because life in prison, $50,000. $50,000! Now, 3 months in jail. I'll see you in a couple weeks. Why would you take 3 months in jail and turn it into 15 months or 2 years for failure to appear and eluding the police? And why would you do that? Oh, most people don't and won't. Judge Craig Stillwell has openly committed in open court improprieties against not just me, not just Brent Brandt, but many people. He has had ex parte conversations with the prosecution without informing the defendant or the defendant's lawyer about them. So they're working together as one group, like they got a parrot on their shoulder. Here's the judge, and here's the prosecuting attorney. The prosecuting attorney whispers in the judge's ear, and then they go out and make their rulings. Pasco has used the religious sect inside its population to molest and rape families. It's just plain and simple. It's not my opinion. Come after me for slander, because I can articulate and show how you've molested. How you've actually molested my family, Sean Sant. How you, Dave Zebel, have lied to the city council of Pasco and molested my wife and my 16-year-old daughter. You sack of Dave Zebel molested my 16-year-old daughter, my wife, and my son. Sean Sant actively participated with that molesting of my family. And they did it all for their own gain and benefit. The one thing that they've swore an oath to never do for any reason, they have done it instantly just because they don't want sidewalk chalk. Where I have video from 3 months prior, them literally saying they know I'm a famous protester. But then they lie and rape and molest because they have an agenda. And you're gonna go along to get along in Pasco, or you'll fucking suffer. You understand me? In Pasco, you go along to get along, or they come after your family. I will be releasing a docket of videos that is personal on-the-street interviews with citizens talking about that very thing. About Pasco police officers raping their family. Physical rape. Actual rape. Pulling guns on them in their own property. And then filing a warrant 2 days later in court. Wait, why were you on their property and... Oh, you had a warrant to be there. But the warrant was filed 2 days later. Oh, that doesn't matter. This is Pasco. We knew there was going to be crime there, so we went there and we did our job, and now you'll give us a warrant, Judge. And the judges in Pasco are like, okay, no problem. I'll do anything for the cops. I'm in bed with the cops. I've already done so many dirty things for the cops. I can't stop now. That's what's wrong in Pasco. You want to know why the corruption is so high in Pasco? You want to know why the city council can actively participate? Because it starts at the judges. Because Epstein didn't get where he got without a few judges molesting children with him. I'll guarantee you there were some judges on that roster going to Child Pornography Island or Child Rape Island, whatever you want to call it. Whatever it is, whatever disgusting, despicable disgrace that our society is becoming. And it's not the individual that's doing it. It's the collective at the top. And it's always been that way, guys. Anyway, I just had to get some stuff out. I got more to talk about, but I'll save it for another time. Thanks, guys. Peace out. Stay safe out there, because it's real. These cops are liars and manipulators. Always film the police. Always record everything you do. And when you see injustice and improper actions in your community, stand up. Say something. Do something. And if you get turned down or rejected, say something else. Say something more. Do more for those around you. The patriot must always be ready to defend his country against his government. See, Edward Abbey. You know, I didn't even know I had it in my blood, Jenny. Like, I didn't know it. I just, since all this activism, or whatever you want to call it, just for standing up for the last 2 years in the little bit of places I have, I found out that my grandpa used to be involved in, I don't remember, a couple different groups, a couple different activist groups, and rights groups, and government accountability groups. And this was before I was born. He died before I was born. My grandpa died before I was born. So I never met him, never knew about any of his actions as an activist. And I'm at my aunt's house, and my aunt's just like, you just like your grandpa. You just like him. You can go on and explain all these things that everybody else is like, what? Really? That's happening? And it's just, I'm like, what do you mean like my grandpa? So I start digging through old family stories, and sure enough, I think it just comes to a love of humanity. It does hit at the family. And that's why I say the things I say. People are like, oh my gosh, it's not nice that he uses those words. It's not fair to other people that have had that happen to him. Really? My family can't go in the streets of Pasco without literally fearing for their lives. My daughter has anxiety now because of the city of Pasco. The city of Pasco have came at her and her family so many times, so aggressively. My 16-year-old daughter has anxiety. But it's okay, they're just doing their job. This is America. God bless America. They're doing their job. You suffer. You shut your mouth. You have no rights. I have a video I'll be posting soon of the Franklin County Sheriff laughing about the Constitution. Laughing about it. Think about that. Families are being torn apart. And I went to the sheriff 3 months prior. 3 months prior. And I had actual evidence of actual false imprisonment. Literally, I have evidence of a sergeant saying on camera, it doesn't matter, same thing. Oh, you didn't tell him to stop? He was under arrest? Oh, same thing. I'll just write it in the report. Wait a minute. That's not... You can't do that. You can't write it in the report later and say you said it beforehand. That's filing a false police report. Nah, nobody will believe it anyway. He's just a crazy guy. We're the police. We've been filing false police reports for 3 months against him. And he can't stop us. We keep filing him in court. We file enough of these, eventually we'll have him. Like a child predator. They're coming after my family. My family can't feel safe or have the ability to do any grocery shopping, to go skateboarding in the park, to go swing on the swing set. My family has no freedom. Not just my freedom of speech. My life, my liberty, and my ability to pursue happiness has been taken away since December 23rd, 2018. Yeah, you know who the fuck you are. I know you'll watch this. And I know the Pasco Franklin, Sean Sant and his little buddies will watch this too. And since December 23rd, officer from the Pasco Police Department, when he literally tried to pull my daughter back into the road by a verbal command and then threatened to arrest and ticket us for jaywalking after he verbally told us to get in the street. And then he told me, I know who you are. And if you think you're getting any help from Pasco, you're fucking crazy. That was December 23rd, 2018. And Pasco's just going to ignore that. That's not relevant. That has nothing to do with our behavior. We get to take all our behavior out. We're cops. All our behavior is pure. It's already been tested. Don't you know? Trust us. We swore an oath. Now, if you don't do what the fuck we say, we'll shoot you. If you look up statistically, and it's hard to find the statistics exactly because they get mixed in, Pasco, Kennewick, and Richland shoot more people than basically any other metropolitan area in Washington because they get away with it. There's Pasco, there's Richland, and there's Kennewick. When Pasco shoots somebody, Kennewick looks at him. Kennewick looks at him. You did a good job, Pasco. And then Kennewick shoots somebody, and Pasco comes over and says, you did a good job, Pasco. You did a good job, Kennewick. And then Richland shoots somebody, and Pasco and Kennewick come over, and they go, oh, you guys did a really good job. And they're like, you guys did too. All good. The Watcher. Who is watching the Watcher? We are letting them watch themselves. Oh no, I don't go without 2 cameras actually. And it's why I did this. I did a bunch of research and I found a mobile carrier that's unlimited data, and I get it for $30 a month. And there's no cap to my streaming right now. I'm streaming like 17 megs upload and like 21 download. So I mean, I have to have live coverage everywhere I go. I have to have the ability to go live. I have to have multiple cameras. I have to have audio recorders. I'm. It has saved me. That's. You know, I've heard it everywhere. You hear it a lot. You hear, record the cops, record everything you do, record everything. And I'm always trying to, but I had very inadequate devices. And had I not done the little bit of recording I did right now, I would probably be in jail. Like, I literally would probably be in jail right now. But because I was able to show multiple times they were lying, they weren't able to arrest me. I mean, they didn't arrest themselves for lying, but they couldn't arrest me. It's when I got out of jail on the 14th of September, or 17th. I was in there 14 days. I had a very good heart-to-heart with Eric. I spent some time on the phone with Eric, and I'm not going anywhere without cameras and without friends and family. I don't go anywhere alone anymore. And if I do, there's a video late at night on my channel. I had to be out on the streets of Pasco for like 15 minutes by myself. And so I just started recording the moment I got on the street. Like, I just started recording. Pardon the noise there. I'm not going to not do it. They are making false accusations every single day. And because they are the cops, they can do it. Think about that real quick, guys. Because the police can make false accusations, they're going to. Our forefathers are rolling over in their graves. Our founding fathers. Our founding fathers are pissed off at us. And they're screaming at us because what we are doing to all of civilization is despicable. It's not just America. It's not about America. You know, you'll hear me say our founding fathers or America this. What I'm referring to is the ideals that the Constitution stood for. The ideals that even though slavery was the culture, even though slavery was McDonald's, our forefathers wrote a document so understanding that eventually the words, all men are created equal, were enough to wake everybody else up and say, wait, all men. He's a man. I'm a man. They didn't say all white men are created equal and not women and not blacks and not Chinese. No. They had the document. They wrote the document. They signed the document. And they said all men are created equal. Jenny Jones, I appreciate it. I appreciate you staying in and hanging out. Brent Brandt is back in jail. So Franklin County's, real quick tyrant, but Franklin County's policy is that if you miss court for the first time, and it's your first time missing court, then they just basically say, hey, your bad, my bad. We'll reset the dates. But with Brent Brandt, because they're trying and they've been trying, and another video on, if I hadn't videoed this, you wouldn't believe me, but on my channel, there's a video where Augie, his counselor, in July came out to our house and threatened him and told him he was going to be locked up for 90 days and he was going to be medicated. Did a judge say that? No. The prosecutor and his counselor said that. Not his mental health doctor, his counselor. See, there's a difference. He's seen a counselor and then a psychiatrist. The counselor working with the prosecutor both said you're getting medication. Now the judge is in on this side. His doctor at the VA hospital says no medication. But these three people have decided that they're going to rule his world. And they're literally going to commit improprieties in open court. They are so blazing and so blatant in their willing and their ability to. They can, because nobody will question them. I witnessed them literally threaten Brent to take away his right to legal counsel because he was objecting to slanderous false allegations. Slanderous false allegations, and he was objecting and rebutting those allegations, and his right to counsel was threatened in open court. He's a disabled veteran. He served in the first Gulf Storm. He served in the Navy at the same time Eric did. Maybe just before, but around the same time Eric Brent did. I don't have a lot of people left in my life. Most of the people left in my life are veterans. My brother's a veteran. Brent's a veteran. Scott was a veteran. He's a veteran. Scott's a hero. Winton. Anyway. Veterans are what make this fabric of this world real. Are you Jay Jones? Oh, the talk show host. Yeah, no doubt. I don't think veterans are perfect, but I will tell you this. A veteran from the Navy or the Air Force is more willing to question his orders or authority before he acts upon them. And if you look into the training in the Navy, there's a reason for it. Because just because the guy at the top of the ship tells you full speed ahead, if something's not working down below properly, you just don't go full speed ahead. In the Army, they're like, you march forward, you catch that bullet. If you catch that bullet, you keep on marching. Don't turn back. Hold on. There's no questioning authority. Hold on, oh man. Hold on one sec. Poop, I have to shut this down. What's that bell? It's I'm in a camper. It's the having an electrical short problem with one of the wires. Sorry about that. Back since the moderator split. Oh no, problem. You know, I'm blessed. I have an amazing family. My brother, the veteran, has helped me out, even through his cancer. My brother's a disabled veteran also. It's a great couch for a camper. It is. Um, it's basically my home. Like, um, it's nice, but it's gotta last me a lot of the rest of my life. Yeah, I remember that researching your roots. I remember you saying that. Bumped my head once too many times. Um,